number one fan. I'm your number one fan. Gotta understand, I got a plan. Go for what you want, might be what you thought. You gotta take a chance. Gotta understand, I'm your number one fan. Number one fan.
A special edition, another one, episode 3 of the Kurt Social Network. This is the KSN Podcast, and I'm your host, Kurt the Magnificent. Tonight, we have another great episode coming up, and this is something different. A lot of numbers, a lot of financial stuff, economics, stability. We're going to really get into it, and I got a couple of guests that are really going to talk and give us that one-on-one and what we need to know, and it's going to be really good and really interesting. I know these guys very well. We talk about it a lot, and they talking about it a lot, not just with me, but amongst each other, amongst with other people. So I'm going to introduce them first. One person, he has his own Connect real estate company going on right now, and it's called Deal Connect. Yes, you see it there. And he's doing it either down south, up north. He's doing all over the place in the North America region. And I got to give it up first for my brother, Mr. Kev Martin. Let's give a hand for Kev Martin real quick. And then after that, well, also we're going to bring in my other brother who's going to come on as well. And he's going to talk about a lot of investments and money management, okay? And that's my man, Brad B. Both guys from the Greenberg area of New York, if y'all don't know. So let's give him for my man, Kev Mart and Brad B. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. All right. What's going on, fellas?
What's the word?
Yeah, we good. We here. We live. All right. We kicking. I want to thank you for coming on. Here on KSN Podcast. It's an honor. It's a privilege. It's a pleasure on having y'all on here. So I want to thank you, Brad and Kev, both.
Thank you for the opportunity, man. For the platform to speak out and talk about something I think that can benefit a lot of people watching, and just us having these conversations.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be a good time having a conversation about the future, about economics and everything. Thank you for the introduction. And these have been my guys for close to over 20 years. So,
definitely. We'll start with you, Brad, first. Brad, tell us a little about yourself and what you do as far as with financials and economics.
Yep. So I work for a major tech company, senior manager of the global accounting team, oversee about 30 legal entities, and responsible for financial reporting, general accounting, and basically being a business partner for the company. I also, me and my girlfriend, we own a real estate investment company. We've had our doors open for about 2 years now, closing deals, making connections, networking, and, really excited for what's to come. So that's basically my life, real estate and finance. So happy to have this conversation, talk through.
And that's a good life and good conversation we're gonna have with you, about this and what you're going through. And I know what we're gonna talk about in questions tonight is gonna be very informative for what you've been doing the past couple of years or so. So thank you, Brad. Now let's give it for my man Kev Martin. All right, Kev, you got the Deal Connect. Introduce yourself. Tell us more on what's on your end.
Okay, so once again, thanks for having me. My name is Kevin Martin. I'm the founder and CEO of Deal Connect. Deal Connect is a real estate investment platform. We help realtors, investors, lenders, wholesalers all kind of real estate professionals. We basically help people like find deals, fund deals, help them with transaction management, and connect them with professionals that provide them services. So that's all encompassing. We're like when I tell people about the platform, I tell them we're like Zillow meets Angie's List, but on steroids. Um, and so our claim to fame is like we give you access to millions of properties and professionals to help you kind of get across that finish line. And our job is really to just streamline the real estate investment process, the real estate owning real estate in any capacity, right? Just help you with that. It's kind of the old dinosaur in business, and we kind of innovate it and make it not only cool and fun but easy to use. Easy.
Tech is going to be a big part of everything we do, Kev. So we appreciate you continuing to innovate and, throwing us some samples whenever you would cook something up real good. So I appreciate that.
No problem. No problem.
Definitely, Kev. Thank you for that. Let's get to a couple questions, and it's for each of y'all. First, I'll let Kev go first. What was your relationship with money growing up?
My relationship with money. I never thought I was poor, but I never thought I was rich. I knew that, we didn't live in the best neighborhoods because I'm originally from Queens. And so I could see that these neighborhoods wasn't the most luxury, but we were always happy, right? And so I wasn't a person that ever like asked for a lot of things, but I didn't know, we don't really have money. But I knew that, I lived with a lot of family. I knew that, my grandparents owned a home, my mom owned a home. So growing up, I think the definition that they would call it is we were house rich but cash poor. So I knew that we owned stuff, but like we weren't like the flyest and doing all that cool stuff. So, there was, growing up in New York, you definitely want to be fly and all that. So like there was that like disconnect where I wanted to get to that. So I started working and I just started, not only having a job, but I was addicted to basketball. I wanted to make it as a pro, so I played a lot of basketball every day. And so it was like I had a drive to kind of want to do better in life because, I knew that we had a house, but we didn't have the money that we could do whatever we wanted. So a lot of that put that drive in me to kind of do more. I knew that there's a number of opportunity, right? So I never felt like, oh my gosh, we're poor, but I felt that, I knew that there could be more. And so I was blessed with, parents that allowed for me to go for my dreams.
I appreciate that, Kev. Thank you. And Brad, same question for you. Relationship with money growing up.
Yeah, I'm hearing Kev, like, a lot of similarities there. I think the issue is that for me, financial literacy was not really the cornerstone of like my childhood. So, I mean, I learned about personal finance and that type of strategy, just being around people while, being in corporate or just involving myself in certain networks and being around certain people that would educate me and kind of teach me the game, so to speak.
Right.
So it's a learned behavior, and it's something honestly I'm still learning it. So we don't stop.
Definitely can't stop. This is something that needs to be talked about, especially for young men, young people, especially the high school kids. They should actually have some type of educational class for this. I even thought about this for sports players. I think they have this for like people that get into like the NBA and the Major League Baseball, NFL.
It's getting
They
more
have these,
popular.
yeah, they have like educational classes where you learn to manage your money.
Yeah. It's there for the elite players. I think EYL is introducing a curriculum somewhere in the Bronx or something, but it should be just like learning history, reading, math,
Yes.
things like that is
Yes.
everyone gets it. That should be, I don't want to get too political, but if you give everyone financial literacy, you might not have an economy that works the way.
Well, I mean, that's the sad reality of it.
Yeah,
It's just like, but hey, We're here to share.
Right, right. Brad, I'm gonna ask you this question just for you. What is the best piece of financial advice you have ever received, and you can give?
Pay yourself first. That I'm quoting Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like if anyone who wants to become financially literate, I suggest pick up that book yesterday. Like, you know, read that, listen to the audio book if you don't like to like sit there and read. You really have to understand the mindset. The principle of pay yourself first. It it's not a rule, it's not like a task, it's a mindset. You adopt that mindset, you start to do things like, all right, well, when I get my paycheck, i'm not I'm not like I create automatic savings by automatically having my take home pay go to a different account. And just let you start to get creative and adopt things to help you make you save, invest, make smart decisions by just adopting that mindset. And your behaviors will start to align to that. So, best piece of advice, read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, and pay yourself first.
Thank you for that. That's very, very informative. And Kev, I'm gonna have this question for you.
Mhm.
What is the biggest financial mistake you've ever made, and what did it teach you?
Biggest financial mistake. That's a tough one when it comes to me. 'Cause I could say some crazy stuff.
Keep it PG.
No, no, it's not that. I make a lot of financial risk, um, right? And in some people's eyes, it might be looked at as a mistake, right? But I'm a big swing for the fences kind of guy, and so in that, um, for me, it's that I didn't invest in myself earlier, right?
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't. I didn't invest in my business earlier. I didn't invest in my self development earlier. My ability to sell earlier, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
while we running around popping bottles, what I mean, having a good time, doing all this crazy stuff, traveling the world, right, and having a lot of fun in our 20s. Even though I was very disciplined, I don't know about my grandmother used to say, uh, a Jack with no fun makes Jack a dull boy. Like if you don't have any fun, you become like just worked out or whatever. And
Mm,
so, like, I wish I would have had less fun, but you can't go back in time and change that. And I guess my
no.
experience kind of made me. So that's the one thing though. I wish financially I would have just invested in me more and like development of who I am, how I think, how I move. It really just put me to a whole nother level. And that's one of the mistakes. Is like investing in like what did Brad just say, right? Pay yourself first, right? Right
Yeah.
after that is invest in yourself first, right? And put the money into your development, things that are going to make you better, you more likable, like learning how to sell, learning how to communicate. Communication in sales is so huge, right? Just being able to speak alone, right? I wish I knew how to speak a lot better earlier, right? It took me to
Yeah.
reading all these books, took me time, took me growth, but like if I could do it earlier, I'll be able to unlock a lot of doors that I wasn't able to unlock earlier in my life.
Very good. Very. Y'all giving me some good gems right here. Good knowledge. This is good for everybody really here. Brad, my question here next is: should us as people we prioritize on having an emergency fund versus paying off high interest rates?
Well, that depends. Are you writing off that interest as a business expense against your personal income? That might be a different answer. So really, really, it depends on the individual. Everything depends on the individual situation, financial goals, where someone is in life. You might find that the answer to every individual is going to be different, just based on the situation. So what I would say is find a professional, network, make relationships, make connections with people in this space
Mhm.
so that you can get educated and learn what's the right decision for you. There's never a one size fits all answer in finance. Anyone that tells you that is lying.
Right. Right. Definitely. Thanks. Kev, for you,
Yeah.
this is a mortgage question. Should we, if people own a home, should we pay off our mortgage early or invest in that extra money?
The difference, right? That's a big conversation. And if you guys know anything about social media and all the gurus, right, everyone has a different answer to that question. I'm 100% neutral with it because the first thing is what's your goal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not about just making a goal. I'm about being realistic, right? Knowing thyself, right? And so if I if I keep this mortgage and I have this lump sum of money and I should invest the difference, am I really going to invest the difference? Or am I going to blow it and then say, oh man, later, right? So you got to really know yourself. And I've met people that like don't know themselves at all, and you put $100 in their hand, and then 20 minutes later it's gone, and they don't know where it went. And I've met
Mm.
like I was a mortgage officer for a while, and I met a woman, and she had like 90 grand from some inheritance, and she had a good job, had good credit, and she was trying to buy a condo, and she could have put down like 10 grand for the condo and took the 80 grand and did whatever with it. But she's like, no, I'm gonna put the whole $90,000 in. And she told me, she said, because I know myself, if that $80,000 sitting in the account, it's gonna just dwindle away, right? And so when it comes to that, you got to really know yourself and say, okay, what is the best decision for me? Also, looking at the market, right? Is it better if you bought your house in 2021, right, and you got that 3% or 2% interest rate, right? Is it better to just leave that in place because if you go buy another house or do another investment, you're not going to get that kind of rate, so just leave that in place, where you have this low payment, and then or do you pay it off and now you don't have any payment at all, but now you don't have access to that capital, right? And now you're going to take the difference every month and maybe put it towards certain other bills so you're not as stressed, right? So it's about whatever your goal is. Some people, they want to be more progressive or more aggressive in investing in something that can make better returns. Some people just want a simple life where they're like, you know what, I have my house paid off, all my bills are what I used to pay my mortgage. It just goes to all my other bills, and now I can save the difference, and I'm at peace every month. Right? Seeing that mortgage every month it does different things to different people. Some people think it's nothing. Some people are like, this is a weight on my shoulder. So it really depends on what your goals are and what your lifestyle is to determine whether you're going to pay it off or if you're going to keep it in place. Both strategies are great. This is the one thing I tell you. Whatever you pick, stick to it. A lot of people that mess up is because they jump and they go, oh, I'm going to pay off my house. And then they realize I need more cash. So now you refinance it again. And now you pull the cash out. And now you got a worse rate and you're getting less cash because you're jumping and you're flip flopping, right? I understand emergencies do happen, things do happen, but if you got a strategy, you got to really stick to it for the long run.
Brad, is hearing that, is it better to rent or buy a home in this current economic situation we got going on in the climate of America?
I mean, it really depends on what your goal is. If you're like it, owning always sounds great, and everyone will tell you like, yeah, go ahead and buy something, buy a house, buy this, buy that. But what they don't tell you is that you're going to be paying in property taxes for the rest of your life as long as you own that property, right? Um, do you want to do that? Maybe. Does it make sense for you? You have to look at your finances and work with people that are knowledgeable to understand what the best decision is for you. So renting is not throwing money away. Renting is what we is it's the cost of business. You would need to pay that anyway. Yeah, you might be paying that toward equity on a mortgage, but you're also paying a lot in property taxes. And if you have an HOA or if you have other things that don't necessarily build equity in the home, it just depends. So if you're ready, what I would say is if you are ready to buy a home, just make sure there's an exit strategy. Make sure you can see down the road how you can get out if you needed to. Is there an opportunity for rental income if you wanted to rent out the place? What are all your opportunities? Just you really need to lay out all those things. Um, I'm curious to hear what Kev, what you think about that, because I'm kind of, I used to say like you gotta own, you gotta own, you gotta own, but every situation is different, and I'm just curious to hear what you think about that.
I agree with everything you're saying. Um, so I play a lot of the neutral game and I get both sides. But where I stand right now today, I'm big on not hacking the system like cheating the system, but I found that, man, right now all the big wigs rent, man. Everybody's renting. If you buy a
That's what I'm
house,
saying.
buy
You
a house.
see?
If you buy a house, you got to look at it like a business, like an asset, right? Because when you own your personal house, right, you can only write off certain expenses. But when you make that house that you purchase into an investment, it's a significant amount more that you can write off for things that you do with that house, right? So you have that component. And then you can go rent in a nice area without having to pay nice area taxes, right? Or pay good school taxes for your kids,
Right.
right? And so if you want to hack the system, right, and you want to send your kids to a really good school, you go take your kid to the really nice neighborhood and you rent over there. And now those people that's paying 30, 40, $50,000 in taxes, and you're paying 2, 3, 4 grand a month in rent, what they pay in taxes, you pay in rent, and you don't have that bill. But yet your kid is getting the same education, right?
Oh, and by the way, that rent, whatever you're renting, that's also a personal office too, right?
Yeah, you know how to work the system for sure, for sure.
You
You
got you
can do
see
a,
all
you can
these
do a lot.
things.
Yeah, you can do a, you know how to work this system. Like it's so much, and then it's the piece, right, that you have also, right. A lot of people that own a home, right, their first home, that starter home, they got to buy that in the hood. And you got, 2-year-old son, 4-year-old daughter, and when y'all go outside, it's a war zone. You know what I mean? It looks crazy. And
Yeah,
so,
I was up in New Haven a few weeks ago looking at a multifamily.
yeah.
I didn't end up putting an offer out on it, but yeah, it's the hood, like for real.
And I used to preach multifamily, right? And
Yeah.
everybody preaches multifamily, but the one thing you got to know about multifamily is in the hood. You know?
Right.
Hmm.
And so
Definitely.
you got to
Definitely.
understand that.
Definitely. Well, guys, um, I wish we had more time, to do this. And I want y'all to come back on and do
Oh,
this
yeah,
again another time with me. I hope that's good. Can we do that?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh
for
yeah.
sure, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. I appreciate this. This is very good information, financial, economical, money management. Very good. Want to thank y'all too. Stay on real quick, 'cause I'm going to give a couple real quick information rundown before we get out of here.
Okay.
Real quick, NFL. You see the playoffs that's going on. It's been really great, interesting. My picks going into the Super Bowl, Seattle and Denver. It's funny because I remember Seattle and Denver was at Kevin's his birthday parties. It was a birthday party, Super Bowl party years ago.
Oh
This is the
That, that
time
yeah.
was
when
that was
this is the
Denver,
time
Seattle.
when
At his
when
crib, at your
Seattle threw
crib
the
on North.
interception at the end.
Uh,
So so let's talk. Well, I just want to give up that information. Great win for Indiana University on winning the national championship over Miami. Very unexpected, but great for them. And then last but not least, the Knicks, which they look like they're going to win tonight, but they've been on a losing nine. They lost 9 of 11, and Now, tonight, hopefully they could pick it up because I heard they had a players meeting yesterday morning at practice because after they lost to Dallas on Martin Luther King, that was just unacceptable. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to just wanted to throw that knowledge real quick and throw them updates. And again, I want to thank Brad and Kev for coming on, and they're going to come back again on another time on another episode here on KSN Podcast. So again, fellas, thank you very much. I appreciate y'all.
No problem. No
Yes,
problem.
sir.
Thank you for having us.
All right,
For
we're gonna
sure.
get out, and we're gonna get out of here. Once again, thank you, whoever's listening, whoever's watching. I appreciate y'all. All right, and this is the Kurt Social Network. Peace, love. You already know.
Yes, sir.